Richard Howard, out and about on a Saturday afternoon in Harlow. What are the issues you're hearing on the doorstep here?
Well, obviously people are still feeling very worried for their jobs and for the conditions, how much they're paid, feeling insecure. And it's very important that when they hear from the Conservative-led government that things are getting better and they don't really feel it for themselves, that they're really suffering from the cost of living crisis, that they can see that Labour understands that, and whether it's for myself at the European elections, what we do in the local council, or when the general election comes, that there is a real alternative for them to choose.
So when people hear about coming out of recession, etc., etc., do you think people are buying that?
I've got no doubt when we look at the closure of the Tesco distribution centre in Harlow, for example, that, you know, on the ground people are still really struggling and businesses are struggling too. And I think hearing from politicians that everything's all right just sounds complacent and out of touch, and that very much characterises what this Conservative-led government represents and why we need Labour back in Westminster. But we've got a big chance in May to reinforce Labour's control of the council here in Harlow, and hopefully not just for myself but more Labour MEPs to be returned in the European elections.
And do you find that as a message across the eastern region? Do you find the same issues that are here in Harlow? Are they in Thurrock? Are they in Cromer? Same issues?
Look, every community is different and unique, and I have the huge privilege to represent the wider region in the European Parliament. But you know, I'm a Harlow boy, 20 years living here, deeply proud of this community, and of course in the new towns with their more manufacturing traditions, with particular housing needs, families desperately in need of housing here and in some of the other towns and cities around the region. That's a big need, and I've fought to get European funds to help create jobs, in some cases to build new environmentally friendly homes. I want to do more of that, and the people in Harlow definitely want to see more of that.
And finally, are you worried about UKIP?
Well, at the local county council elections last year, UKIP didn't get a county councillor here in Harlow. Of course, their message is aimed at Conservative voters. You know, they want to privatise the National Health Service, they want to bring back the poll tax, bring back fox hunting and comprehensive schools. Well, Conservative, right-wing Conservatives may be attracted to that, but people here in Harlow who just want a decent job and they want to be treated fairly in the workplace, and they want their kids to be able to get a home and to be able to afford it, and they don't want to see these terrible cuts to care for the elderly, you know, they're not attracted to UKIP at all, nor should they be. A Labour MEP is who best represents them.
It's all about the cost of living crisis, really. People are saying to us that they are not feeling any sense of a recovery here in Harlow. What they're doing is that they're still struggling with their gas, their electricity bills, and trying to make ends meet, still seeing that prices are rising in the supermarkets, and they're just not seeing that recovery that people are talking about at the moment.
And do you think that is an issue particular to certain areas of the east of England which are a candidate, or do you think it's just in certain pockets?
It's right across the east of England. It's urban, it's rural, the same kind of issues come again and again. Obviously somewhere like Harlow, somewhere like Thurrock, issues like train price hikes for people trying to commute into London. That's obviously a bigger issue here in Essex than it would be up in Norfolk. But again and again, it is about the amount of money that people say that they've got in their pocket and how they really are still struggling to make ends meet.
So if you came to my door or my office door, etc., so when you say the cost of living, I would say the cost of living, but then my question would be, what can you do about it? It's going to be different than the coalition.
Well, one of the things of the leaflets we're actually putting through people's doors here today is about Ed Miliband's plans to freeze the gas and electricity bills. I'm also a European candidate, and I do think it's important that the government claims the money that is on offer from Europe for the people of Essex. For example, the government have missed the deadline and failed to claim money for a youth guarantee programme, and that will guarantee young people jobs and training here in Essex. In the same way, the Tory Lib Dem government, there was £22 million worth on offer from the EU to fund food banks here in Essex, and the government have said no to that money. That's the kind of thing that we could be claiming off the European Union to make a real difference to the lives of the people here in Essex.
You worried about UKIP?
UKIP are always an issue. People do talk about them on the doorstep, but I find that people saying that they're going to vote UKIP, if we can get across Labour's positive policies on things like jobs and on things like houses, then we can win the argument. People say that they're concerned about migration, but actually what they're really concerned about is making sure that they've got a decent place to live. So Labour's policies, for example, to build more housing is a positive policy that we can get across. And people who are concerned and say that they might consider voting UKIP are saying that they might do that because they're worried that they can't get a job. Well, I say vote Labour, because Labour's got the policies to sort out the economy and get people back to work.
Thanks, Mary. Thank you very much for your time.